Today we're looking at Darwinning from Dragon Dawn Productions. Darwinning is an evolution-themed trick-taking game for 2 to 5 players, taking between 45 and 75 minutes to play. During the game, players take on the roles of different species of animals, ranging from the lowly amoeba through the insect family to fish, amphibians, rodents, birds, elephants, and the mighty dinosaurs. In the Kickstarter edition of the game, you'll get your 10 player boards. You also get 10 environment cards representing the places your animals get food from. Then there are 3 decks of cards, each numbered 1 to 14, with each number being duplicated. Then you have the food chain board. This represents where animals sit on the food chain. Also some player aids. With the full version of the game, you'll also get some tokens, but we don't have them here as this is just a prototype version. At the start of the game, each player chooses a species they'll play at random. Here, I've got the rodents. They start at 7 on the food chain, and as we all know, I play red. They also have a starting population of 4. Here on the player board is where you start on the food chain, your starting population, and here are the environments you'll find food from at the end of the era. Any starting traits you have will be on the board here. Here and down at the bottom here is where you'll put your traits over the course of the game. At the start of each era, a different number of environment cards are drawn from the deck. In eras 1 and 2, 5 cards are drawn from the deck. These correspond with the environments that your animal can find food from at the end of the era. At the start of every era, each player is dealt 10 cards, which they will use to play tricks with during that era. The player aid gives you a guide to what tricks beat which. Right up the top, we have a single card, then a pair of the same value, then 3 cards of the same suit, then 3 cards in consecutive order, not necessarily the same colour, then 3 cards of the same value, then 3 consecutive cards of the same suit, and the trump that beats everything is 4 cards of the same value. Here's a typical hand. Josh plays 3 blue. Emma, knowing she's beat, plays a single card. However, I've got 3 consecutive cards. Rob then also just plays a single card. So I win this trick. I can pick one of the 3 cards I played to place on my species board anywhere I want. I need some food, so I'm going to place this as an environment card. The last hand of each era is slightly different, in that players play their tricks as usual. However, the winning player is the only player who doesn't receive the benefit of a card. If I were to win a trick with this hand of cards, I could use any of these 3 cards to improve my species. I could use this card to improve the environment and help my animal find food at the end of the era. I could use a card here and use the trait that's on it, or I could place it here and increase the population of my animal. I could also place a card here to increase its position on the food chain track. However, I can only do 1. Each of the trait cards numbered 1 to 14 in every suit have the same trait ability. For example, number 1 is pheromones. This gives you a food and it means you can eat 1 step above you on the food chain. Number 8 means you're a parasite. During your turn, you can steal a trait card from another player's board. Number 11, food storage. This is a very handy card. It gives you 4 food. However, it's a one-time use. Remember, all cards are not just trait cards. They can be used for environments, population, or to increase your growth on the food chain as well. At the end of each era is the survival phase, where animals need to eat in order to survive. Turns are taken with the lowest person on the food chain going first. So blue, then white, then red, which is myself. My mouse needs 4 food. He can get 2 from the savannah here. And then because he's adapted for the ice, he can get 2 from the ice card that's here, which means he is now fully fed for the round. Also, he went up on the food chain. If you're in first place, you'll only move up by 1 place. However, because of the distance between me and green, I get to move 2, leaving 1 gap between me and the player in front. However, if I hadn't got enough food for this round, say I hadn't adapted to the ice, I'd be 2 food short. What I could then do would be to eat one of the species lower than me on the food chain, white or blue. In this case, I'm going to eat the white species. I'd give them a bite marker and I'd take 2 extra food. On the flip side, if this environment had come out, I'd get 2 from here, 2 from here, and 2 from the ice that I adapted to, giving me an abundance of food. This means my population would grow by 1. Regardless of how much excess food you have, your population will still only increase by 1. At the end of the game, every species is scored in the following way. Food chain. Score points equal to your current food chain position. Environments. Score 1 point for each environment on your species board and 2 points for each additional environment gained during the game. This proves how valuable they are, giving you food during the game and then a nice endgame bonus too. Population. Score 1 point for each of your starting population you still have alive and 2 points for each population gained above that number. Trait cards. Score 1 point for each trait card with a number between 1 and 9 and 3 points for each trait between 10 and 14. The traits you start with printed on your board are worth 0 points, as are traits played in the 0 points box at the bottom of the board. The species with the highest score is the winner. In the case of a tie, the winner is the species with the highest population. If there is still a tie, the winner is the species highest on the food chain. We met the team from Dragon Dawn Productions at the Toy and Game Fair in Nuremberg, Spielwarenmesse. This was actually the first of over 20 conventions they're going to this year over the next 4 months. They're visiting Germany, Belgium, France, Spain, Italy and the UK, to name a few, between February and June of this year. Check out their blog and you can see if they're coming anywhere near you. I'll put a link in the comments so you can have a look. We love animals here, so we love a good animal themed game. We're also big fans of trick-taking games, so Darwinning scratches both of those itches quite nicely for us. Darwinning is on Kickstarter at the moment and is around 35% funded. They have some great stretch goals, including adding a 15th card for all suits, a crib sheets for various combinations and traits, and components for a 6th player. I quite like the comic abstract style of art, as we've shown you on the prototype here today. However, if you have a look at their Kickstarter page, they've upgraded it all and it is really nice. It's well worth checking out. Thanks for watching this. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you like what you see, please click subscribe. I hope to see you soon. Bye.